Hi, I've been diagnosed with a temporary bad ear and a permanent mediocre knee, so I'm feeling slightly sorry for myself this video. I wanted to film a part of it outside, but it's very windy, so if I wanted to film it outside, I would have to use my headphones with a microphone, and because I have the temporary bad ear, I cannot wear headphones. I am prohibited for the next week. I might die, who knows, I don't know, I've never not worn headphones for that long. I mean, I've had headphones for hours a day, different types, since I was third. My hearing is intro. Anyway, welcome to this monthly book review. This month I read, I believe, 6 books, let me recount. It 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, 6 books. And 3 of them were, I'd say, pretty out of character for me. I have some of them here. I'll start with opening this. You might think, oh, is it champagne? No, I don't drink alcohol. This is oak and chocolate kombucha, which I found really intriguing. Heck, I forgot I am a long nail girl now. You don't see it, by the way. It has like a fake seal at the top as well. I really hope it won't pop like a champagne. I need a bottle opener. So the first book that I read this month was By Fairy Means or Foul by Megan Maslow, and it was an audiobook re-listen. I bought that audiobook when I was in New York the last time, and it is a fantasy, gay, crime, romance. Maybe not in that order. I'd say fantasy, gay romance, and crime as the background. The plot of the book is that our main character, Twig Starfig, who's a half dragon, half fairy hybrid, oh my god, is made to do the bidding, like solve a crime for a unicorn who appears like a sort of a person. They, like all creatures within the universe, are able to take on, of course, a human shape, and this unicorn, who's named like Star Pebbles, Dust Rainbows, has a slave named Quinn. This slave named Quinn is our love interest, and he is given to Twig as a collateral in case, just to be sure that the unicorn will pay for the services of our private detective Twig, whatever. And this summary really sums up the aesthetic of this book greatly, cause all the character descriptions make it seem like they were all designed for like a 2006 DeviantArt. Like they were like DeviantArt 2006 personas, or like human people who would perfectly fit within the Neopets universe. That's the aesthetic we're talking about here, and definitely that is the biggest plus side of the book in general. The world building is really cohesive and really good because it's so, I'd say, original and kind of aesthetically unpleasant. I just don't think about it when I listen to it. When it comes to plot, I find it personally triggering is probably too strong a word, but personally aggravating. Certain characters have dynamics that I find really upsetting. For example, the power dynamics between Quinn and Twig upset me, not in the obvious way that I am upset that Quinn is a slave, because obviously that sucks, but the magic behind their bond makes it seem like either one or the other is will have to be the master of the other. Also, Quinn keeps a lot of secrets, which is rather malicious, and I don't think anybody would be as upset about this stupid book as I keep being, but still the world building keeps me coming back every 2 years or so. So 3.5 stars. I will round it up to 2. Because it's just not that special. It doesn't really merit 4 stars, but 3.5 for sure. So, and in keeping with the theme of re-listening to old stuff that I've had in my Audible library, okay, let us try. So it's definitely kombucha. That's the first 8 flavor notes that I'm getting. Oh, I've tasted chocolate, and I think the oak, as in wood, as in I can taste a barrel in it, as in I don't know if that's really a thing that you should advertise on your product. So here's my review of it. I re-listened to this gay romance crime story, because I was keeping with the theme, by Josh Lanyon. I have a lot of audiobooks by Josh Lanyon because I thought that he was a guy, and a guy writing gay crime novels. I really like the crime aspect because in his books the crime is as important as the romance aspect. In some books it's just the romance is in the back burner. Like in this series, I'd say it's less important than the crime. But it turns out that it's a woman, which is upsetting twice over. First, because I assume this lady thought that she would sell better as a male author, because that's a big issue in like English-speaking countries. And second of all, because she thought that as a guy, her gay romances, crime novels would sell better, which they do. And yeah, I don't really like that. So, but just even not thinking about who the author is, I read The Mermaid Murders and The Monet Murders. The Mermaid Murders being the prequel, and the prequel is pretty decent. I actually really like it. It's not amazing, but it's definitely good enough. It's passable. I'd say it's an enjoyable 3-star read. I like the characters that are built in the novel. I really like how our main character is able to have boundaries and uphold them, and he's really nice. All that goes out of the window in the second book, where the love interest, Sam Kennedy, becomes just unbearable. I mean, it's very realistic portrayal of a guy, of some guys. Like, there are guys like that. I've met guys like that. But Sam Kennedy has this issue where he is desperately in lust with our main character, whose name I don't remember. John, I don't know. So Sam Kennedy is really desperately in lust with our character, but because he has issues, he doesn't really want to commit. So our main character, who's pretty good at doing boundaries, is like, communicate with me, so you don't want to be with me. And Sam Kennedy is like, no, I can't be with you because of my boundaries. And our character is like, okay, but I don't want to see you then because it's upsetting to me, because I care about you a lot. So then Sam Kennedy just does something to, seduces our character so that he'll stick around. In general, Sam Kennedy as love interest, so not worth it. There was not a second where it seemed worth it. Also, the crime sucks. There are like 3 or 4 different consecutive crime investigations taking part in this book. One FBA, which our main character is a part of, like art related. Sam Kennedy has his own investigation, and there's like a journalist's investigation, and there is also some more investigations that I don't know, and they all intersect because they concern the same group of people, but are never. It sucks. I give it a 1 star. It was just terrible. I hated it on a reread, and yeah, just because I like the main character, I also need to like the plot and the love interest. Like, bad love interest can ruin a bad romance novel. The third book that I read this month, fourth book that I read this month was Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents by Lindsay C. Gibson, PSYD. That's the way that's her title, PSYD. Like a psychology doctorate, I imagine. She's a psychologist, and her book is an exploration of the dynamics of relationships of adult, mature children and their emotionally immature parents. Lindsay splits children of such adults into 2 categories: externalizers and internalizers. Externalizers will search for the cause of their problems outside of themselves, and internalizers will look inwards. So of course she assumes, obviously, that the people who will search this book out are internalizers. Like, everybody is invited, but obviously it will appeal more to a person who looks for solutions inside themselves and does not depend on others to solve their problems. So this book, I feel, is very valuable, especially if such a person, such an adult child of mature parents, is at the beginning of their journey. I am a psychology student, and so I'm quite well versed in family dynamics and the attachment styles and stuff like that. But to be honest, I did find it helpful because the author just does a very good job of categorizing and organizing this kind of relationships and the internal processes of these kind of people, like the children, the adult children. So I'd say as a self-help book, it's valuable for people at the beginning of the journey, but also for people who are really interested in psychology. I think it's a very valuable resource because, well, the person who wrote the book is a qualified professional, which is always appreciated, and the theories she puts forth in her book are completely unobjectionable, even if they aren't, like, all of them aren't based on peer-reviewed studies, because they are based on her experience, and she's not doing anything groundbreaking, but she does really good job at categorizing stuff. So I'd give this book, do I give it 5 stars? No, I'd give it a 4 stars. It's a really valuable read. The 5th book that I read, I have it here in Polish, but I read it in English because I bought this copy for my mom. It's Educated by Tara Westover. In Polish, it's called Freed, Uwolniona. And this is one of those books that will definitely stay with me for a very long time, if not forever. I won't say it's life-changing, but it's one of the books that kind of make you reflect upon your life, and it made me feel so deeply. The story of the book is that... Proszę. So Tara is a history professor who was born in a very fundamentalist Mormon commune family group, who were living very off the grid for a large part of her childhood without TV or the internet and telephone even, and they were homeschooling their children. So Tara did not receive a proper education as a child, and this book is her journey to obtaining that education and all the consequences that come with it, because fundamentalist religion and very specific off-the-grid type of lifestyle is not really compatible with the sort of education that she started to pursue. And I won't really spoil anything because it's really weird to talk about a spoiler because it's a memoir, a biography, but I think that it is such a valuable book. It's a 5-star read for me. It was amazing and I just really, really recommend it. I also, as a last book that I read this month, I finished, it's an audiobook as well, but it was Sidney Crosby, The Rookie Year by Sidney Crosby. At least that's who's credited as an author on Audible. However, there are multiple people narrating the book. There are, of course, excerpts of interviews with Sidney Crosby. The host is Joe Manganiello, which I think was a great choice because Sidney Crosby is like the MVP of Pittsburgh Penguins, and Joe Manganiello, the star of True Blood, the show that taught me English, by the way, I know as a D&D player, True Blood, Alcide werewolf, but also a person who lives in Pittsburgh. I don't know, maybe I've seen 2 interviews with him, but he always mentions Pittsburgh, so I was just so happy that they got him to be the host, the guide of this book. And I think it's a very good book, especially for sports fans. I don't think it's anything revolutionary. It's absolutely not on the level of Educated, and I will go back to this in a second. But Rookie Year is also kind of a retrospective memoir of Sid's first year in the league, and I love hockey. I love Sidney Crosby. He's one of my favorite players, so it's great to spend some time with it. It's not very long, and it's free if you have an Audible membership, which maybe get. I don't know. It's pretty cool. I'd give it 4 stars. It's just pretty good. It's not amazing. Maybe more honest would be 3, but I enjoyed it, so 4 stars for me. And I'll just go for one moment to this, because this is written in one of the prose in this book is so beautiful and just so well crafted, because when the author leads us through her childhood to early adulthood to adulthood. She's right now, I think, 36, 38, something like that, and the book was published in 2018. So she was 35-ish when the book was published. and she keeps the prose at a level, not at a level, she just keeps her vocabulary, she structures the phrases in a way that we are very clearly in the mindset and in the intellectual capacity of the person of the age that she's describing. What I mean that she does not write from the perspective of an adult. As a kid, she tries to get into the mindset of herself as a kid, then a teenager, and then young adulthood. And when she was this young adult, first starting university, I found it unbearable. In general, I really don't like the transitionary period of early adulthood. I'm fine up to the teenagers, but then if people become early adults, I don't know why I just don't vibe with that period in most biographies that I read, which I don't do often, maybe because of that. But here, I was so frustrated with the way that she thought at that age and what was going on in her head. I was so frustrated. I was walking in the park, it was dark, fortunately, with my dog and crying because I was so frustrated about it. And only after like a couple of chapters later, it got to me that it was deliberate and very, very thought out. The way that she wrote is just so thought out, so this is amazing. And with that, I've come to an end. I will be mentioning like some things that I'm working on in books, but for now, thank you for joining me this month. All my social media are linked in the description box, as well as some links with resources to help Ukraine. So I'll mention some books that I've started and hope to finish next month or maybe in the next 2 months. Enchantment of Ravens, I know it's a 5-star read, it's a reread and I absolutely love it. I'll let you know if there are some new things that I found about it. It's a similar vibe. To me, this is an alternative to Howl's Moving Castle. They are like equivalent to me in like value, merit and themes as well, even though they are not all that similar. I also have Best Served Cold by Joe Abercrombie. I started it and I keep forgetting to finish. I still have not finished Kira's Barf Road Diet Guide, and I should finish it because I want to be the best at it. As well as I have Hurt Comfort, which is a coming-of-age gay story by Weronika Łodyga. It's in Polish and it's called Hurt Comfort because that's a trope within fanfiction, and if you read fanfiction, even in Polish, the tagging system you adapt from English. So Hurt Comfort is a trope where you first hurt the characters so that they can receive comfort and you can get that emotional catharsis. It's used to be, I love angst, so it's one of my faves, but I like heavier angst than this usually. But this is very Polish with its contents. I'm halfway through. We'll see what I think about it. But this is my TBR. I got this from my dad. It's not translated into English. It's called Heksy, which is kind of like curses, magic curses by Agnieszka Szpila. She's my dad's acquaintance, and it's supposedly a very angry novel written by a woman. You can see the uterus on the cover. I've seen it called like an angry feminist novel, but I don't think it's a feminist manifesto. I think it's just written by a woman who's frustrated and angry, and I am all about that kind of emotion from women. I love when they get angry, so Promising Young Woman, a great film. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I have Harlan Coben's Call Me Win, which I am... No. The original title is Win. I don't know what it's about. I know that it's kind of a spin-off. This character is from Myron Bolitar series, so we'll see about that. I have Ina Nacht's Check Where the Forest Ends, which I will read the next time I go on a hike because it takes place in Kotlina Kłodzka, which is a mountain region that I love. Maybe I will go there and read it then. I have this beautiful gold-edged Emma that I got for Christmas. I don't know how soon I'll read it because Emma is one of the most detestable main characters, but the book is really good, so we'll see. I also have oh my god, I have a lot of I think I need to really look for, like, search out some lesbian fiction, maybe non-fiction, just books with lesbians in them, because I think gay men and straight couples are overrepresented in the books that I read. I need some diversity because this is a second installment in the Heartstopper series. I read this comic when it was coming out online. It's a very cute coming of age story and a romance that is gay. I'm so predictable. But this is also a reread, like all the other ones in this genre. I am purchasing less, I mean I technically purchased this, but I already read it. I am purchasing less gay fiction because I want to be mindful about my consumption of it and seek out gay fiction written by appropriate authors. But I have a backlog, like a huge stash of one written, like of them written as by what? Written by women. I have a lot of gay fiction written by women. This is two, Alice Oseman. So I'll just continue reading them, but I won't purchase new ones when I'll just keep in mind that it should be written by guys. And the last one is also a reread. This is Cinder and Ella by Kelly Ulram. It's a retelling of Cinderella taking place in high school, and the Cinderella here has suffered a lot of injuries in a car accident, so she's disabled. Which it's kind of weird that they don't market it that way, just because representation matters, and I think people who the kids, teenagers who hurt themselves would like themselves to be represented in fiction. And I remember really liking it and really liking the psychological complexity of the characters therein. Can I use that word now? So yeah, we'll see. We'll see about that. And with all of that, we've come to the official, actual end of this video. Thank you for spending time with me. Consider subscribing and checking out my other social media posts, as well as, of course, the links to support Ukraine, which are linked in the description box. As well, I have a list of charities and some other stuff in my link tree. Thank you. Kira says thank you as well, and bye-bye.